This September, winter comes early. When the town of Storybrooke gets frozen over.
Here we go again. Really?
Once Upon a Time, the season premiere, Sunday, September 28th at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Welcome back to Watch Shane, Watch Stuff. I'm Shane Andrews, and today we're going to be talking about the new Once Upon a Time Season 4 premiere, A Tale of Two Sisters, Episode 1. Okay, so there's a lot to talk about here with Frozen, and I'm going to try and be at the very beginning here very spoiler-free. And as we go along, there will be a section of this review where we do have some spoilers about Once Upon a Time. I am a huge Once fan. I love this show. I've been watching it since season 1 was on television. I really enjoy what the writers are doing with the different worlds that they've created and the bringing together of all these different things. And so there's a lot to talk about because obviously, as ABC has been making a huge push for, Frozen has now entered the world of Once Upon a Time. And there's been a huge advertising campaign for this whole new Frozen piece of Once Upon a Time, which I think has polarized some Once Upon a Time viewers. There are some people who are very excited about Frozen being on Once Upon a Time because they love Frozen and think it's the best movie ever and think it should just be everywhere all the time. There are some other fans who are not so sure about this and how it's all going to go down. And I will admit, I was in that camp. I was a little bit not sure what to think. When they announced Frozen was coming to Storybrooke at the end of season 3, in the season finale, when the little urn is dumped over in the barn in Storybrooke, and this blue stuff starts coming out, I started thinking, what's this going to be? What are they going to show us here? Who is going to come to Storybrooke? What's going to be the new season's plot? You know, is this going to be a new villain? What's going to go on here? And then when it was revealed to be Elsa from Frozen, I did not know what to think about that. I thought, okay, this could be interesting. And I think has some things to say about where Regina is going to be going in this season that we'll talk about in a little bit. So I thought, you know, I was a little bit skeptical, so I will admit that going in. And I was pleasantly surprised in some ways with what they did in this episode with Frozen, and other ways I was not so excited. So let's dive in and let's talk about this. Frozen, you know, has been a very popular movie ever since it came out last December. I went to go see it. I remember liking it a lot. I actually haven't seen it since because I'm a little tired of it, I will be honest, just because I've heard the songs so many times, just from a lot of friends and different things. So, but I do like the film. I like Frozen. I thought it did a good job. I really liked what they did with a lot of the characters. I'm a huge Kristen Bell fan, so I love that they had Kristen Bell in that film. And so, you know, coming into Once Upon a Time, I thought, hey, this could be great. They'll probably like change up the story like they always do with all these different characters. And so when I started watching out for the announcements for the casting, I was very curious, who are they going to get to play these different characters in live action, especially from such a beloved Disney film? Who are these people going to be? And when I heard the casting for Elsa, I will admit I was very worried. Georgina Haig was the person who they cast as Elsa. And I had seen her previously in Fringe, Season 5. She played the daughter of the main character there, Anna Torv's character, Olivia, and in the future. And I was not impressed with what they did with her in that show. I didn't think her acting was that great. I thought she was a little bit stiff, not super well realized as a character in that show. And so I was very worried about what they were going to do with her being Elsa, such a newly iconic Disney princess character. So I will admit though, Georgina Haig came through. I was really impressed with what she did with Elsa. I actually thought she really captured the spirit of who Elsa is. Kind of this sort of like trying to be fun, but also very reserved in some ways, very scared of who she is and scared of what she can do, but also trying to be warm-hearted, especially towards Anna. So I thought that Georgina Haig did a great job at playing Elsa throughout the episode. I think she captured every bit of emotion. And actually, I was most excited to see her on screen. I thought, okay, Georgina Haig is doing a really good job, and perhaps this is just one of those instances of you know, an actor being paired with not the best director or not the best material before in Fringe, and now with Once Upon a Time, like this is her wheelhouse, like this is her spot. The directors and the personnel working on Once Upon a Time perhaps are just clicking really well with her. So I thought that was great. She did an awesome job. The lady playing Anna, however, Elizabeth Lale, I think her name is, I was not as excited about her. And I think because I am such a Kristen Bell fan, I just would have loved to see Kristen Bell be Anna in this show. Kristen Bell's not a stranger to television. She's been in Veronica Mars. She's done a lot of different cameos in different places. And I would have loved to have seen Kristen Bell take on this role in live action because I think she could do it. I actually think she looks a little bit like Anna and she could pull off the part. They'd probably have to, you know, change her hair color a little bit. But hey, they do that all the time in Hollywood. So I would have really loved to have seen Kristen Bell. I thought Elizabeth Lale did an okay job, but she was trying a little too hard to be the spunky Anna that Kristen Bell kind of naturally is. So I thought that was a little bit of a stretch. Also, the actor playing Kristoff, Scott Michael Foster, not as impressed with him either. I thought it was, again, a little bit of a trying too hard to be Kristoff. So I'm not sure what I think about those two yet. You know, I always, like I said, I always give them 3 episodes because I think that's a fair amount of time to get them established, get their characters established, because maybe they just aren't established yet. I don't know. So anyhow, those are all the different actors. I thought that they did a good job in some ways, but as far as Anna and Kristoff, not the best realization in my mind. Another thought along with Frozen, this whole Frozen piece, I feel like there's so much to talk about with this episode, is the CGI of the season. I was a little bit worried because Season 3's CGI in Once Upon a Time was not the best. And there were some spots that I just thought, oh, that does not look that great. But again, it's television, it's network television nonetheless, and so I give it a little bit of a pass sometimes, or just kind of roll with it because I like Once Upon a Time and I like the acting and different things. But I just thought some of the CGI of Season 3 was a little disappointing. And so I was a little bit worried, man, this with Elsa coming on, there's going to be a lot of CGI that they're going to have to do with all these Frozen things, with ice, and with if they bring the snow monster in, which they did, that I thought was very well done, actually. So some of the CGI, the opening scene where the parents of Anna and Elsa are on the ship, I thought was not very great CGI, not very well done. But the snow monster and all the ice effects with Elsa, I thought were really well done. They did a really good job for network television. Even the snow monster, though, I actually thought was really, really well done. And I remember turning to my friend while we were watching and saying, they actually did a really good job on that. I am impressed. So I think they pulled it out in some ways, and I really hope that they can maintain some of that level of CGI throughout the season. I don't know, there's a lot of budget constraints I understand from network television, so who knows if that can happen. The other thing now is we're going to get into a little bit of some spoiler territory. So, you know, if you really don't want any spoilers, go watch the episode and come back and let's talk about it. So this is kind of your warning to check out now because we're going to dive in. There's a lot of things I want to talk about with this episode. So go ahead, check out if you're not into spoilers, and here we go. The first thing I really want to talk about is Elsa and Anna's parents. Where were they going at the beginning of the episode? We have this teaser that they are going because there's some truth that the kids don't know, that Anna and Elsa don't know about what they're doing, and they're going somewhere for a purpose. And we find out that this place is called Mist Haven, which I was kind of like, what is that? What is this place going to be? Who is at Mist Haven? And I will come back to what it's revealed in a moment, because I want to talk first a little bit about what Rumpelstiltskin and Belle find in this mansion that they go to. Now, Rumpelstiltskin and Belle got married at the end of season 3, which I still am not totally sold on the Rumpelstiltskin-Belle connection. I honestly think it's a little bit creepy, just to be honest, but I roll with it. I go with it. I thought it was really funny when they did the Beauty and the Beast homage when they're in this mansion and all of a sudden, you know, Belle is wearing this yellow dress and Rumpelstiltskin is wearing the Beast costume and the chandelier and the Tale as Old as Time starts playing on the record player and they're in like a library. And I thought, really? Really? Okay. Whatever. You could go with that. And I kind of laughed. I thought it was funny. But, it was very interesting. When Rumpelstiltskin first goes in, he's going to replace the real dagger with Belle's fake one. And so he's going in and he, freezes her in place. And then he goes and he sees on the table, there's this little golden barrel, it looked like, with a star constellation piece on top. And I remember thinking, as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is something. This is going to be something from something. And I was racking my brain trying to figure out, what could this be? Like, what is this? And it's later revealed at the very end of the episode that this barrel turns into a blue hat with star constellations all over it. And immediately I had two thoughts. Either this is supposed to be the Sorcerer's Apprentice hat from Mickey Mouse and the Sorcerer's Apprentice, where he puts on the hat and makes the broomsticks, dance around and clean everything, and then they go crazy. So this is that hat from that wizard. Or they're going to be tying in Sword in the Stone, another Disney film where Merlin, who I actually believe is supposed to be the sorcerer in the Sorcerer's Apprentice. I may be wrong on that, but I believe that might be it. But Merlin in Sword in the Stone also has a blue hat just like this. So although this hat seemed to have some magical properties, and in Mickey Mouse's short with the Sorcerer's Apprentice, it also seems like the hat is the source of the power there. So that may be what this is. So this mansion, where did it come from? Where's Merlin? If it is Merlin, where's the sorcerer if it's the sorcerer? And will the sorcerer be a new villain for Once Upon a Time? Because I feel like right now we're a little bit in gray territory with who are the villains of this season so far. They've been kind of building up this like ambiguous, is Elsa a villain now or not? Because Elsa, as we learn, is looking for her sister. And I thought it's very interesting on the Elsa note that Elsa has ice power and Regina's main thing is fire. Fire versus ice, perhaps. I think we're going to have a Regina versus Elsa showdown at some point. So Rumpelstiltskin has found this hat. I thought it was very interesting how at the beginning he's making this speech to Neil's grave about not wanting power and how power has like corrupted him and all these different things. But then he finds this hat that has some power and it's obviously sucking him back in. So we'll see what happens with that and if Belle can continue to be a person who keeps him on the straight and narrow, so to speak. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, I really want to talk about a couple of the love triangles really quickly. The Robin Hood and Regina. And Marion. When Marion came in at the end of season 3, I just was upset on one sense because I thought, no, how could you do this? Emma Swan, what are you doing? Why did you do this to Regina? I was so frustrated with that because I knew this is a classic Once Upon a Time plot twist and a love triangle that they love doing this kind of stuff. And now here is Maid Marian, the real wife of Robin Hood, and Regina has now lost her true love, Robin Hood. But Regina's got a plan to get it back, and we'll talk about that in a second. The other love triangle I want to talk about is Captain Swan, which I will admit I'm a fan. I really liked actually Neil and Emma as well, but now that Neil is out of the way, I am totally on board with Captain Swan. I want to see Emma Swan and Captain Hook get together. I think it would be awesome. I think it would be great. I'd love to see that progress. Obviously they're a little bit bogged down with some worries right now about what's going on. As Hook says, there's always a crisis, but I really love the two of them, the idea of them together, and would love to see that furthered. Plus, I've always thought it's very interesting that her last name is Swan, and from the Pirates of the Caribbean films, Elizabeth Swan. Very interesting. So I love that. I thought that was great. Now let's talk about Regina. Regina's got a new plan, and it's revealed that she goes and Sidney Glass, the mirror, is still alive. He's still around, which I thought was very interesting. I forgot about him, actually, that he was still around. I actually thought he was dead. But there he is inside Regina's kind of psychotic asylum area of the hospital. So we've got we've got Regina's got Sydney Glass there, and now he is back in the mirror and showing her the past, showing her some different things. So I thought that was very interesting. She's got this plan now to change the storybook, the Once Upon a Time storybook, which is very interesting. I'm trying to think through what the mythology of the book is throughout the whole series, because there have been times where the book was blank. There have been times when the book changed. Different stories changed in the book based on what happened. And Regina has this theory that what happens in the book is what actually happens in life. And I actually wonder if, based on the logic and the universe of Once Upon a Time, if it's actually not the other way around, if life actually reflects what happens in the book. Because it seems like things that happened in the past have affected things that happen in the book. So, not quite sure. What we do know about the book is Pinocchio, from back in season 1 and season 2, he had a big part of taking care of this book for someone. We actually don't know who he was taking care of it for. I actually thought he was the original writer, but apparently he's not. Although he did have that typewriter at one point. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But Pinocchio, he's in charge of this book at one point, but now he's a kid again, so he doesn't remember anything about his adult life. So he's kind of a zero option for figuring out who wrote this book. They're going to try and go and change the book and see if they can change the villains to have the happy endings, which I think is a very interesting idea, because Regina obviously still sees herself as a villain, even though she's been trying to redeem herself and used light magic to defeat the Wicked Witch back in season 3, which is the good magic of Once Upon a Time. So she's kind of waffling once again back to being evil, which I think is very interesting. Regina is one of my favorite characters on the show. I think she has the most interesting story arc, kind of going back and forth between these different sides of her. It's like trying to figure out who she is and can she be redeemed or not. And Henry, I think, is a big piece of that. And I think Henry probably will become a big piece of that throughout the rest of the season. And helping Regina kind of overcome who she is, because obviously family is very important to her. So, what limits will this book have? Will this book be able to change? Perhaps maybe the book has something to do with Merlin or the sorcerer. Who knows? We don't know yet. That's kind of all up for grabs right now. Who knows? But the other piece of that, I was wondering about the magic mirror. Sydney Glass is back inside that mirror now, and he's been showing Regina some things from the past, and shows her who Maid Marian is, some of these different things. But I was wondering, can he just show things from the past? Or could she ask where is the author of this book and find whoever the author is? I don't know. Who knows? I think if they don't answer that somehow, I'm going to be a little bit like, what? This is a little bit of a plot hole here. I'm not sure what to think about this. So I think that's very interesting. I'm really excited to see what ends up happening with Regina. But I think I'm more curious about this hat that Rumpelstiltskin has found in this abandoned mansion. What is it? Where did it come from? I'd love to hear, what are your theories? What do you think? What do you think is going to be this hat? Where is this hat from? Do you think it's the Sorcerer's Apprentice hat? Do you think it's Merlin's hat? What do you think it's going to do? Also, what do you think of Frozen being in Once Upon a Time now? Do you think it's a good thing? Are you excited about it? Are you not so excited about what they did? Feel like it didn't come through? Or you think it was great? Let me know down in the comments down below. That'd be awesome. And thanks for watching today. There's a lot to talk about with Once Upon a Time. I love it. Watch for my review of the trailer for next week, coming soon. And also stay tuned for Sleepy Hollow's going to be on, and also Gotham, new episodes. So watch for reviews of those. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.